From Thom Hartmann's Daily Take Substack. The chilling Republican plan to slam shut the courthouse doors on average Americans. The sinister Republican bond scheme could price you out of justice forever. Published June 19th, 2025. The following is a song inspired by this article.
There's a price on your freedom. There's a toll at the gate. Where the courts once stood open, now billionaires wait. They've locked the doors tight, put a bond on your plea. If you're fighting the tyrant, it ain't gonna be free. The price of fighting Trump is more than you can pay. They're selling off your justice, taking rights away. The courthouse is a fortress where the rich alone may stand. The price of fighting Trump is blood upon this land. They wrote it in secret in the big beautiful bill. A bond for your sorrows, a bond for your will. Millions of billions to speak of your pain, while Trump's goons run free again and again. The price of fighting Trump is more than you can pay. They're selling off your justice, taking rights away. The courthouse is a fortress where the rich alone may stand. The price of fighting Trump is blood upon this land. Ice at your doorstep, your benefits gone. They say post a bond before righting the wrong. No judge will hear you, no court will respond till you pay the ransom, till you break on their bond. So call every senator, shout loud, raise the cry, before justice is priced so damn high we can't try. The Constitution's bleeding, the rule of law's thin, and the price of fighting Trump is the soul of this land we're in. The price of fighting Trump is more than you can pay. They're selling off your justice, taking rights away. The courthouse is a fortress where the rich alone may stand. The price of fighting Trump is blood upon this land.
Right now, the only thing that's preventing Trump from going full dictator is the federal court system and our ability to challenge his unlawful, unconstitutional behavior in it. Republicans in the Senate think that they have a fix for that, though. It's a good news, bad news scenario, although the bad is far worse than anything most of us could have imagined. The good news is that Republicans in the Senate have removed the provision in their kill Medicaid to pay for tax cuts for billionaires, big beautiful bill legislation that would have prevented courts from being able to hold Trump's people from being held in contempt of court when they refuse to follow court orders. The bad news is that they've replaced it with a provision in Section 7302 of the bill that will make it all but impossible for anybody other than billionaires and giant corporations to sue the Trump administration for dictatorial behavior or anything else in federal court. This may have something to do with the fact that over 300 lawsuits have been filed against Trump and his goons, and federal courts have blocked Trump in at least 187 of them as of this week. Trump has outright won only 7.1% of the cases where he or his administration have been sued. The system Republican senators have inserted to keep you and me and nonprofit public interest groups and blue state governors from suing Trump is pretty straightforward. Instead of just filing the lawsuit and paying the typically small fees associated with those filings, you'll now have to post a bond that could run into the millions or even billions of dollars before your filing can be accepted by the court. Quoting Alicia Bannon, Judiciary Program Director at New York University's Brennan Center for Justice, San Francisco Chronicle noted, quote, "If this language becomes law," Bannon said, "it will be financially impossible for ordinary Americans to go to court to protect their rights, like trying to make sure they receive Social Security payments or are protected against unlawful deportation. Bonds for those orders could cost many millions of dollars," she said, end quote. Republican chairman for the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, was truly excited by the prospect of everybody, except billionaires and giant corporations, being blocked from the federal courthouse when Trump's people screw them. He crowed, quote, "Finally, the Senate Judiciary Committee is advancing solutions in the one big beautiful bill to restore the constitutional role of the federal judiciary," end quote. UC Berkeley Law School Dean Erwin Chemerinsky, a regular guest on my radio program and an author of Constitutional Law, Principles and Policies, among other great books, told the Chronicle and the legislation, if it becomes law, would prevent people whose rights have been violated by the Trump administration from getting help from the courts at a time when the president is violating a constitution as never before seen in American history, end quote. The bond amounts that must be posted are calculated as the expected cost to the federal government and in a proper amount to pay the costs and damages sustained by the federal government, end quote. Arizona Supreme Court Justice Clint Bullock notes at his unpopulist newsletter that such a bond requirement will bring most filings before federal courts to a screeching halt. Quote, "That is especially true in cases involving sweeping policies where the government could claim, quote, costs, end quote, in the billions. Only state governments could conceivably post bonds in that amount, although they may also balk at the potential hit to their budgets," end quote. And the court you're filing the request for relief with can't even consider your economic circumstances or the cost to you or the damage inflicted by the Trump administration depriving you of your rights. The bill explicitly says, quote, "No court may consider any factor other than the value of the costs and damages sustained," end quote. Are you a citizen who's been arrested and detained illegally by ICE and held in detention for months where you were starved and beaten up? ICE could claim it'll cost them $10 or $50 million to litigate and resolve your case. So that's what you'll have to put up before you can ask the court for release or damages. Have you been denied re-entry to the United States, assaulted, robbed, or raped by an ICE, FBI, or other federal officer? Has your Social Security or Medicare benefits cut off as punishment for your political activities? Arrested and held in a hellhole, Louisiana private prison for years for carrying a sign protesting Trump's fascist behavior? Tough luck, as the old saying goes. Bullock adds, quote, "This provision of Trump's big beautiful bill means that many parties would have no choice but to accept violations of their own rights, then seek legal redress, severely undermining the Constitution," end quote. Trump isn't the only authoritarian in Washington, D.C., as this provision proves. Republicans in the Senate are more than happy to block average citizens, their attorneys, public interest groups, and even states from the federal courthouse doors, leaving us all at the mercy of Trump and his goons. Even the Koch-funded libertarian Reason magazine was horrified, writing, quote, "If this provision passes, the government could impose even blatantly illegal and unconstitutional policies for long periods of time unless and until litigation reaches a final conclusion. That could inflict grave harm on the victims of illegality. Consider media subjects to illegal censorship during a crucial news cycle, illegally deported immigrants, people imprisoned without due process, and more," end quote. In other words, America is on the verge of dictatorship, and this will push us over the edge in a way that may well be irreversible. Even conservatives should be concerned, and it's unlikely the GOP will control the federal government forever, and a future Democratic administration could abuse this provision just as easily as the Trump regime is no doubt eager to do. Call your Republican senators and House members and let them know your thoughts on this matter. The number for the House and Senate switchboard is 202-224-3121. And be sure to remember this enthusiastic GOP betrayal of American values of fairness, rights, and the rule of law, and tell everybody you know about it when election time comes around.